Rais Donald Trump ameachisha misaada mingi ambazo zimekuwa zikitoka pale Marekani zikienda sehemu tofauti tofauti za dunia, hasa bara la Afrika. Sasa moja kati ya vitu ambazo pia ameacha kufandi ni ikiwemo VOA. Na labda tupate ni nini mwandishi wetu ama ripota wetu wa pale Marekani Malin ambacho anaweza kutuambia kuhusiana na hili, hasa sana ni nini ama ni vipi ama ni namna gani Donald Trump amefikia hadi akakatiza msaada huu kwa VOA.
From Trump's perspective, this decision to slash funding for VOA is likely a means to assert more control over the media landscape, both within the US and internationally. Trump has long been a master of controlling the public's perception, and by reducing funding for an organization that reports news to global audiences, he's able to reshape the narrative, or at least limit the reach of media that he perceives as hostile. By stopping the funding, he's effectively sending a clear message to both the American people and the rest of the world that the US government will focus its resources elsewhere, on areas that more closely align with his America First agenda. Furthermore, I think that Trump's push to cut government spending was a key part of his platform. By targeting VOA, which is funded by the US government, he can argue that he's streamlining operations and saving taxpayers' money, especially when he believes this funding is being used for purposes that don't directly benefit his administration's goals. It's almost like he's saying, we don't need to spend the taxpayer money on media outlets that criticize us. Let's cut back and focus on other priorities.
Lakini Lynn, ni labda tu kwa mtazamo wako, ni sababu kama zipi ambazo zinaweza labda zimempelekea rais huyu Donald Trump pia kuachisha msaada kwa VOA?
Well, this move by Trump to cut funding for Voice of America, VOA, is definitely a big statement, and it seems to be rooted in several key concerns. Firstly, Trump has always been vocal about his frustrations with the media, particularly those outlets he perceives as not being fully supportive of his administration or his agenda. VOA, being a government-funded media outlet, has often been a target for him, especially because of its perceived lack of alignment with his political viewpoints. In fact, over the years, Trump has frequently accused mainstream media, and by extension, outlets like VOA. They've been accused of having a liberal bias and of being critical of his policies. He felt that the Voice of America did not always present the America First perspective, often airing reports critical of his administration's actions, which, from his point of view, undermined the image he was trying to project to the world. The president has repeatedly called out what he sees as fake news and biased reporting, and VOA's coverage at times seemed to align with these criticisms. And another underlying reason could be Trump's desire to cut back on federal spending. Throughout his presidency, he pushed for reducing the budget for government-funded organizations, which he believed were wasteful or inefficient. In his view, the funding for VOA might have seemed unnecessary, especially if the network wasn't fully backing his administration's policies. He wanted to refocus those resources on areas that aligned with his priorities. And lastly, I think this move also ties into his broader strategy of consolidating control over the narrative, both domestically and abroad. Trump has often felt that media outlets like VOA didn't promote a positive image of his presidency or America's global standing. And by cutting funding, he's sending a message about wanting to have more influence over how the US is represented, particularly on the world stage.
We truly appreciate all your support as we work hard to keep you updated on everything happening both here in Kenya and around the world. If you enjoy the content and want to help us keep bringing you the latest news, consider subscribing to our channel and supporting us financially. Every little bit helps us improve and continue bringing you the best.